What's going on, everybody? I hope you all enjoyed the weekend of preseason football. I am recording this on Thursday afternoon, so I actually have not seen any of the preseason football yet, but this video does post on, or at least it's supposed to post on Tuesday. So I hope for all of you who have watched preseason football this past weekend, I hope you all enjoyed it, even though not all the starters are starting and it's not, as action-packed. Do that. I hope you all enjoyed it because football season is back. It is quickly approaching, so I'm going to continue my series here on draft decisions. And basically what that series is, I've been doing the past few weeks. I'm looking at two players that are very, very close in ADP and deciding if you're on the clock and you're staring down those two names, who are you drafting? I'm Hutchinson Brown from Footballguys. I'm at HutchinsonB_FF on Twitter. Before I get into this video, we got two tight ends to talk about today. Make sure you also subscribe to the Footballguys YouTube channel and click that notifications bell so you'll be notified every single time a new video comes out. Without further ado, let's jump into this video. Today, we are talking about two elite tight ends, staring down probably about the fourth round. Who are you going to draft? We're talking about George Kittle and Darren Waller. Darren Waller going to pick 42 overall as the 10-4 off the board. And George Kittle going to pick 44 overall as a 10-5 off the board. So they're going right next to each other. I have seen sometimes in mock drafts that they do separate a little further than that. And this is all according to Footballguys ADP. Just a reminder there. Sometimes I do see them separate a little bit more. It just depends on who you're drafting with. But usually these guys are pretty close to each other in ADP and where they're being drafted. So let's talk about the George Kittle side first. Let's talk about the argument for George Kittle. First off, for George Kittle, I personally think he is the best athlete in the NFL at tight end. He is just a yards after catch monster. He can throw any defender on the ground, and he can straight up outrun a lot of DBs out there. Like, he is an absolute monster, and he is just a supreme athlete at the tight end position. And that helps for fantasy because we want tight ends that are athletic and get yards after the catch. George Kittle, has proven over his career that he's great for fantasy. When he's on the field, he is fantastic for fantasy. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Doesn't matter where the offense is at. George Kittle is good for fantasy. And the third thing for George Kittle, this is the new starter at quarterback, Trey Lance, is a young and potentially struggling quarterback. And what we see with those players is they usually like to lean on their big body receivers. And while Deebo Samuel is absolutely an option for that, I think they want to lean on the tight end. And I think George Kittle is going to be that guy. And I think George Kittle's also is going to be out there helping blocking. He's going to be out there all the time, and he's going to be out there ready to catch passes. So let's talk about the negatives for George Kittle. The first thing is going to be injuries. George Kittle, he is so aggressive when he plays football, so it just hurts him a little bit. Like, it physically hurts him because he misses time. A lot of the seasons he's played, he's missed some time. So there's probably going to be some games where you're like, oh shoot, George Kittle's out this week. I got to pick up a tight end to start. So while he's on the field, he's going to be elite, but how long he's actually going to be on the field is a bit of a question mark for George Kittle. And I would probably expect him to miss like 3-4 games this season, as he usually does. And then the other negative with George Kittle is obviously Trey Lance. Trey Lance is a big question mark. We don't know what type of quarterback he is, and we won't know until the season starts. We're not going to know. We don't know who he's going to depend on. We don't know who's going to be the number one target. We don't know if this offense is going to be great or if it's going to be horrific. It's still probably going to be a good offense because you have tons of weapons, a great offensive line, and an offensive genius in Kyle Shanahan here. So it's probably not going to be a horrible offense, but I feel like this offense has the potential to be like average, but it also has the potential to be like a top 5 scoring offense. If Trey Lance really is a good passer, this offense could be top 5. But there's also potential that this offense is not as good, and that's just going to hurt George Kittle for fantasy. So let's move on to the Darren Waller side. Darren Waller, similar to George Kittle, he's just a difference maker at tight end. I don't think he's as good of an athlete as George Kittle, but Darren Waller is a difference maker at tight end in real life. He's one of the best tight ends in the NFL, and he's just unbelievable. He has a great relationship with Derek Carr, too. Like, Devontae Adams and Devontae Adams and Derek Carr are going to have a good relationship. They played in college together. But Darren Waller, for the past couple of years, has just been a target hog from Derek Carr, and Derek Carr's been hyper-targeting him, and yeah, they've bonded. They've made a great relationship together. And this offense, like the San Francisco 49ers, has the potential to be kind of average because of this horrible offensive line. But if Derek Carr really takes advantage of these new weapons and takes that step, I could see Derek Carr throw for 5,000 passing yards, which he almost did last year. And I could see this offense being like a top 10, top 8 scoring offense this year. I mean, they're going to have to be scoring a lot because this division is loaded with talent and on the offensive position. I mean, these are 3 other amazing quarterbacks. Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr, all in the same division, all with amazing weapons. I mean, this is going to be like a lights out division with a ton of offensive scoring on the board. So they're going to have to be throwing, and this offense could put up a lot of numbers this season. And that's just going to help Darren Waller with the touchdown range, and it's just going to keep him on the field, keep the ball moving down the field. That's going to help him just be great for fantasy. And let's talk about the negatives. Obviously, the negatives is going to be the volume because Davante Adams and Hunter Renfrow will steal a lot of work. And that's going to hurt Darren Waller because what has made him so great for fantasy over the past couple of years has been his volume. The connection with him and Derek Carr, the hyper-targeting is not going to happen again this year. He's not going to be hyper-targeted like he was in the past couple of seasons. Davante Adams probably going to see at least a 25% target share. I'd expect Hunter Renfrow to see around 20%. And while there aren't many other receivers behind Darren Waller and Davante Adams and Hunter Renfrow competing for targets, so that leaves a lot of room still for Darren Waller, it's going to be tough because I just don't see Darren Waller hitting the target shares that he had in his past seasons. Additionally, Hunter Renfrow and Davante Adams are both great route runners, and they both are great red zone threats. They get open in the red zone. They make plays in the red zone. I mean, Davante Adams, been a double-digit touchdown guy for the past few years. He's just been a monster in the red zone with Aaron Rodgers. Him and Aaron Rodgers have connected for a ton of touchdowns. It's just going to steal away from Darren Waller's touchdown opportunity. And Davante Adams and Hunter Renfrow also going to steal the volume, the targets. So the volume is probably going to be on and off this year. He's probably going to have some off games, but he's still a difference maker at tight end. And I trust that the Raiders are going to want to get him involved because why are you going to have Darren Waller on your team and not have him be a great piece of this offense, right? So I know that I'm going a little bit longer for this short, so I'm going to wrap it up here. So in conclusion, if I'm on the clock in the 4th or 5th round maybe, and I see both these guys on the board, and I'm deciding who I want to pick, I'm going to be going with George Kittle in drafts. George Kittle, for me, I think he's the better tight end. I think he's the better athlete, the better yards after catch player. I think we have more opportunity to see more volume for George Kittle because I feel like Trey Lance could hyper target him and lean on him. Well, I don't see Derek Carr doing that with Darren Waller. So I'm going to go with the volume, and I'm going to go with the more talented player in George Kittle, but it is absolutely a close decision. They're very close in my rankings, and they're in the same tier for tight ends. I think it's absolutely a great debate to have. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Before I go, make sure you all subscribe to that Footballguys YouTube channel. Click that little notification bell so you'll be notified every single time a new video drops on this awesome YouTube channel. I'm Hutchinson Brown from Footballguys. I'm at HutchinsonB_FF on Twitter. We will see you all next week.